Putin remains true to himself. Is a sick creature. Ukrainian nation was under terrorist missile fire again. Putin airfields under targeted attacks. Lukashenko continues to play the role of Putin's puppet. These and other topics we will discuss right now on the air of our YouTube War and Politics 24. And my name is Irina Uzlova. And I'm happy to join our conversation Michael Sheitelman, political strategist. Michael, congratulations. Thank you for joining. Glad to see you.
Hi, thank you. What congratulations for? I don't understand, but yeah. Okay, great.
For our good future.
Okay,
and
great.
For death of all terrorists, I mean Putin and his surrounders. Our nation under fire again this morning. Russia, after a long pause, attacked Ukraine with missiles and drones using all their visible air arsenal. The enemy aimed at critical infrastructure, which also did not surprise any one of us. Russia attacks 15 regions of Ukraine with drones, cruise missiles and Kinzhals and Calibre, and that's all. What did we see, Michael? How do you think? Was it already a blow of revenge, but somewhat weak, or another terrorist act by Putin?
Well, now I understood what is congratulation for. Congratulations that I survived this attack. I'm in the city center of Kyiv, of capital of Ukraine, and you know, about 15% of these missiles and drones, they're directed to Kyiv. But in Kyiv, we are lucky, we have very good counter-missile system, and all of the rockets, all of the missiles and all of the drones, they're shut down. So in Kyiv, we have only casualties from the derbies of buildings and from the derbies of missiles. But in Ukraine, we have more than 5 persons killed and more than 25 injured. And this is just counting. This is just counting because the attack just was finished just 3 hours ago before our interview. It continued 12 hours, totally 12 hours. We had air raid alerts. So yes, Russia used all the tools that we have for attacking Ukraine from the air. They used also submarines and battleships in Black Sea. They have cruise missiles, which is called Calibre. And they used the strategic aviation. Strategic aviation, it means that this aviation was built in Soviet Union as the aviation for a nuclear war to attack Washington and other targets in Western countries. But now we use these strategic planes against Ukraine, which is very expensive. But as we can see, Russia does not paying attention to the money and to economical situation. They just spend a lot of money for this. Another tool is hypersonic missiles, which is called Kinzhal. And with missiles, they have 5 times speed of sound. And this is also was shot towards Kyiv and was also shot down by counter missile system Patriot. Mm-hmm. So this is the technical issues connected to this attack. The result is they destroyed some transformation systems, mm-hmm. some connectors of electricity, and I believe that half of Ukraine now have a lack of electricity at their homes and in manufacturing places. But what about politics here?
Yes.
What about politics here? Yeah. So from political point of view, Mr. Putin, he needs that as a revenge, as a, like counter attack for Kursk region attack from our side, from military forces of Ukraine. Military forces of Ukraine, Ukrainian troops crossed Russian border 3 weeks ago on August 6th. Military forces of Ukraine crossed Russian border, and now during 3 weeks, our troops occupy about 100 cities and villages in the territory of Russia, of Russian Federation.
Kursk Oblast.
Yeah, Kursk region. So, Russian population and especially Russian elite, especially Russian government, they need some feeling of revenge, some feeling that they can do something. But for their sorrow and for our happiness, they can't stop our troops technically. They just don't have any strong army inside Russian territory. All of their army is in the territory of Ukraine, an occupied territory of Ukraine. It was surprise for Western analytics, as I see in newspapers, but it was not surprise for Ukrainian military forces and for Ukrainian government. Our government knew that all of military forces of Russia were on Ukrainian territory. So the obvious revenge was to strike civil objects, infrastructure objects in the territory of Ukraine, because Russians, they do it usually. After any strike on military targets inside Russia, they do something with civil objects, civil places inside Ukraine. So this is just one more in this huge queue which started in autumn 2022. If you know a couple of Russian commanders, officers, they have criminal cases in Den Haag, in the International Criminal Court. This is the chief commander of Black Sea Navy of Russia and chief commander of Russian Air Forces and former Minister of Defense, Russian Minister of Defense, and the chief of military headquarters of Russian Army. All of them have criminal cases in International Criminal Court in Hague, exactly for these actions, for actions of this type, for strikes on energy system of Ukraine. So now I believe in Hague we will have couple of new people, like for example, the new defense minister of Russia, Mr. Belarus, also will receive the brand new criminal case in Den Haag.
Michael, I had a conversation with Russian opposition journalist Ihor Yakovenko, and he told me that it is not a revenge yet, that we will see like delayed revenge after maybe 1 month or maybe 2 months, because it's Putin's style. We saw the same situation after Prigozhin's behavior and in such cases. So maybe it was not a revenge yet.
First of all, they said it openly that this is revenge. Okay, this is not official representative of Mr. Putin, but some parliament members, Russian parliament members, they said that it was the revenge from Mr. Putin's side. But generally, in the usual cases, I agree with Mr. Yakovenko, but not in this case, because Russia doesn't have any possibilities, any tools for another revenge. What we have, except of these missiles, they don't have some, spare army, second army, which they didn't use. They can't go towards Kyiv or towards Kharkiv with some another army. So we use everything. We have nuclear weapon. So this is the last weapon and last tool for revenge, but not more. So I just can't imagine what Mr. Putin can do. In the case which Mr. Yakovenko, this Russian journalist, mentioned, the case of Mr. Prigozhin, it was obvious that Mr. Prigozhin, he is in hands of Mr. Putin. He's in hands of Mr. Putin because he's in Russian territory. He was in Russian territory, so his plane was shot down in Russian sky. But in Ukrainian territory, what Mr. Putin can do, I can't imagine anything. And I have additional argument about that. This situation about Kursk region, this is not complete. This situation is not complete. We didn't stop our attack. We didn't finish our attack on Kursk region. So it will continue. It will continue during months or years. This attack on Kursk region, and it will be also spread through in other regions of Russian territory. So each month we could say, okay, this time is revenge for the next city or next village which our Ukrainian forces occupy. Yeah. So in theory, it will be also revenge. Yeah. So you can call revenge each action. We have full-scale war. So Russian military forces, they use everything they can. And Ukraine also uses everything what we can. So we can say this is revenge for this and this is revenge for this. For what revenge was the strike against Kursk region in Russia, for example? No, it is just part of the war. But there is a difference. The difference is, does it war criminal or not war criminal action? The strike against Ukrainian energy system is war criminal, because it is the strike against civil population, and the strike against Kursk region, it is the strike against military bases in Kursk region. So this is just part of the war.
Yes, and concerning our Kursk operation, our President Vladimir Zelensky had a conversation with Indian media about the Ukrainian operation in Kursk Oblast too, and he said that we didn't invade the territory of the Russian Federation. The Russian Federation invaded our territory 10 years ago, occupying and killing our people. So Russia was preparing to invade Kharkiv Oblast, intending to occupy a city with a population of 1.5 million people. Russia wants to occupy this city, and Russia prepared to occupy Sumy city. So we thwarted this offensive operation, and their next step was to advance in the north of our stages from the city of Sumy. And the difference is that we did this advance preventively to stop them from taking over our city. So, Michael, what can we say? What are the other and the main goals of the Kursk invasion that we can safely say have been achieved so far?
Well, first of all, I should mention that this conversation of President Zelensky with Indian media was a part of the visit of Prime Minister of India, Mr. Modi, to Kyiv. And Mr. Modi was in Kyiv just last Friday, August 23, just one day before Independence Day. So from symbolic side, it was very important visit to show that India is not the part of Russian aggression, is not the ally of Russian Federation. It was very important for Ukrainian nation, and I believe it also was important to Indian nation and to all Western allies, our Western allies. I'm sorry. Yeah. So now, when Mr. Zelensky speaks about our special operation, let's say in Kursk, so from which point of view we see that? First, from point of view of international law. From international law, we have a total war between Russian Federation and Ukraine. And United Nations, they did the resolution, they agreed the resolution about this war. And in this resolution, which was agreed in March 2022, it is very simple. Russia is aggressor, Ukraine is another side, yeah? So from this point, from this time, when it was agreed about United Nations, all the territory of Russian Federation, it is legitimate battlefield. Ukrainian army can strike any city, any place, any village in the territory of Russian Federation. Ukrainian army has a right by international law to occupy any Russian city, any territory, Moscow, St. Petersburg, or Kursk, doesn't matter. Because by international law, it is just allowed. This is not war criminal or something. This is not the aggression war. Mm-hmm. So yes, there is a big difference. When Russian troops come to Ukrainian territory, it is the aggression and aggression war and occupation. Then Ukraine come to Russian territory, it is just defense war by the definition of United Nations. Yes. What about goals?
Yes.
We can't say exactly what are all the goals of this operation? Because partly it is military secret, and partly it is political secret and state secret. Yeah, it is rather, information which is not. Nobody is say it openly. Yeah, not president and not our military chiefs. So what we can see that the result is we moved Russian army tens of kilometers deep to Russian territory, which means they can't start a direct attack to Sumy region, for example. It is first. They can't throw shells from the artillery to Sumy city, which is also a good result. And the third is that they have to withdraw troops from Ukrainian territory and to put them in front line inside Russia. And another one, now Russia, they bomb their own territory.
Yes.
There was a report that during one day, they bombed hundreds of bombs on Russian territory in Kursk region. Yeah. So they destroy Russian buildings. They kill Russian people, not Ukrainian. And this is good news for all our allies, that the war was moved to Russian territory from Ukrainian territory. For our sorrow, it happened only in one region, from Sumy till Kursk. But our goal is to move all the war towards Russian territory. Instead Kyiv, it will be Moscow. Instead Kharkiv, it could be St. Petersburg, for example. That is the goal of our army now.
The Russian cities of Saratov and Engels were attacked too by drones on the morning of August 26. For example, Engels is home to an airfield where Tu-95 strategic bombers are based, and 11 of them took off at the time. At the tallest building in Saratov, a 38-story building, however, we can see now, was damaged after a UAV attack by drones. President of Ukraine Vladimir Zelensky, in the same interview with two Indian media, said that all air defense in Russia Federation, they protect Putin's dachas, but not, for example, Kursk Oblast and other targets on the territory of Russian Federation. So, Michael, how revealing is the fact that all air defense systems in Russia are located around Putin's personal objects? Is this an additional demonstration that Putin is completely indifferent at all to his people and to his country as a whole?
This quote from Mr. Zelensky's speech is not 100% serious, because if we are speaking serious about Russian counter-missile systems, so they have thousands of them, thousands. Yes, obviously that Mr. Putin residence is the most protected place inside the Russian Federation, but they use, let's say, dozens of these systems, but not thousands. So all the thousands of this counter-missile system, they spread around Russian territory. But in this case, that fact that Russia is huge country with huge territory, with the biggest territory in the world, it is not the preference for Russian, but it is preference for Ukraine. Because we have a absolutely, a huge choice of target inside Russia. And they Russian, they can't build the 100% insured system of counter missiles.
Yeah.
They just don't have any, not economical, not technological prospect to do that. So anyway, every day, our drones and our missiles, they can find new holes in this defense system. So today, for example, our airstrike found the holes inside this Saratov region, and as I mentioned, it is a place the strategic planes were situated, Tu-95 strategic planes. Okay, we don't know exactly the result of this attack, because when we attack some Russian airfield, so the result we can see in tomorrow or in a couple of days, or the day after tomorrow, when we receive the pictures from satellites. Because Russians, they are bad people. They don't report us. They don't report us about the result of our strike. So we can see it only on the pictures from the satellites, and we can see physically damaged planes and some constructions and fuel, for example, some fuel cans, etc., etc. So today, when we see this picture, then our drone strikes this huge building. This is a building of 43 stores. This is the highest building, not only in Saratov. This is the highest building in all this Volga region of Russian Federation. I'm not sure that this building was a target, because the airfield which is called Engels, and this airfield of strategic aviation situated just after this building. So this building is built like a wall before the airfield. So that is was not a target of Ukrainian army, I believe.
More than 20 Russian airfields can be our targets, and we will attack them. Vladimir Zelensky reported to and presented new missile drone Polyanitsa. Michael, Polyanitsa will attack not only Russian airfields, I think.
Well, this drone missile Polyanitsa was built during 1.5 years, which is the very short time. It was built by Ukrainian engineers and Ukrainian manufacturers, which is unique because it was really built from the scratch during 1.5 years. But it doesn't mean that we have enough. But we have enough missiles, Polyanitsa. This new type of missiles, you have a time to build the manufacturing process and to build new missiles. For one attack, for example, for one airfield, you need at least 30 or 40 missiles. Otherwise, we can just shut this down. So usually when we attack some airfields inside Crimea, for example, we use 20, 30 missiles. So when you say that we have a technical possibility now to attack 20 airfields, so 20 multiply 40, we need to build 800 missiles. 800 missiles. For your comparison, United States, we built 600 missiles for Patriot system per year. So we need to build more missiles than the United States built for Patriot system. I believe that, for my sorrow, that Ukraine doesn't have the capacity for this manufacturing. But obviously, in nearest time, this missile will be part of Ukrainian army, of Ukrainian air forces, and Mr. Zelensky, in his speech on Independence Day, when he mentioned this missile, he said that our forces used these missiles once against Russian territory. So I believe that this last attack to it was not Sevastopol. I don't remember the name, but it was airfield in Rostov region of Russian Federation. When we saw that and we saw a result from the satellite, we didn't have exact answer what happened, because from drones we can't cause so big disturb to this airfield. But we know that we can't use American missiles in this range. Yeah.
Yes.
So probably it was the first use of these Polyanitsa missiles which you mentioned.
Maybe it was Morozovsk, which is situated in Rostov region.
Yeah, exactly, Morozovsk. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and Morozovsk, but very hot for Russian Federation and their occupation army. So it was my next topic, Michael, about our permission from our allies to strike deeper inside Russian Federation territory. Zelensky said today that Putin remains true to himself, that it is a sick creature. This has long been clear to everyone. But it also clear that he can only do what the world allows him to do. Weakness and lack of decisions in response feed terror. And every leader, every partner of our knows that what strong decisions are needed to end this war and to end its justly. There should be no restrictions on the range of weapons for Ukraine, while terrorists have no such restrictions at all. Defenders of life should face no restrictions on weapons, while Russia uses all kinds of its own weapons, as well as drones and ballistic missiles from North Korea. The United States, the United Kingdom, France and other partners have the power to help us stop terror. We need these decisions. Minister of Foreign Affairs of Ukraine, Dmytro Kuleba, said the same, that there are two specific decisions that our partners can make to help us put an end to Russian terror sooner. First, affirming Ukraine's long-range strikes on all legitimate military targets on Russian territory, and second, agreeing to use partners' air defense capabilities to shoot down missiles and drones close to their airspace. So, Michael, will we see these strong and confident decisions?
Well, we have a couple of big allies on the West, from political side. This is Josep Borrell, the chief diplomat of European Union, who announced last week, it was in his Twitter or not, I don't remember, but he asked American government and German government to allow us to make strikes too deep to Russian territory with German and American missiles. That is first. And second is Keir Starmer, who is new Prime Minister of United Kingdom, who said in his article, it was in some British newspaper, Guardian, I believe, that United Kingdom allows the Ukrainian army to hit deep to Russian territory with all the weapon which produced in United Kingdom, and it means with with shells and also with drones, with British drones. But he mentioned that about these missiles, which is called, just a second, Storm Shadow, that United Kingdom can't do that alone. Because Storm Shadow, it is the missiles which was produced together by UK, France and United States. So we need three different permits from US, France and United Kingdom. So now we built now something like coalition of supporters of this decision. And we have another side. On the other side, we have Olaf Scholz, Chancellor for Germany, and we have Joe Biden on the other side. So I believe that our coalition of supporters of this decision will be grow, and in a couple of months, our coalition will persuade the skeptics on the West, Mr. Biden and Mr. Scholz. And Mr. Biden has just 2.5 months till the general election to make this decision, I believe.
So we will wait. We will wait and believe that it will come true and possible for us, because it's about justice and not only about it. So we have 2 minutes, but I announced this topic. Kyiv called on Belarus to withdraw its troops recently deployed along the state border between the countries under the pretext of exercises. Ukraine's foreign ministry wrote it in its official statement published on its website yesterday. So, Michael, what is Lukashenko playing again? I don't understand. Does Lukashenko want to imitate Putin's help and pull our troops back, or what are the key goals of such behavior?
No, it is difficult to say, but this time this threat can be real. Theoretically, it can be real. Because I believe that there is a huge pressure from Putin's side towards Lukashenko to take a part on this war on the Russian side. Lukashenko has an army of 60,000 troops, but which is not professional army. They have officers, obviously, but most of the army were just volunteers and not professionals. And they sent 20,000 troops to the border between Belarus and Ukraine. So theoretically, we can start the attack towards Ukrainian territory. So this is good news that Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Ukraine said today or yesterday that in the case that when one Belarusian soldier crossed the border with Ukraine, all Belarusian territory will be a territory of war. And this is the this is the fear of Mr. Lukashenko, because he very likes his oil and gas manufacturing and refineries, oil refineries in they have a couple of oil refineries which is situated, one of them 150 kilometers from Ukrainian border, another one 300 kilometers from Ukrainian border, which means in the range of our not only Palenitsa missile but also in the range of our drones. And these oil refineries will be destroyed immediately if Belarus decided to take a part in this war. So we will be sorry if Belarusian nation will take part in this war, and we in this case we have to just to kill these 20,000 Belarusian people who now stays on the border. And we can't compare with armies, because in Ukraine we have an army of more than 1 million people, and they come with 20,000 troops. It was serious 2.5 years ago, but not today.
Yes. It can be a question of a few days, and I think that Lukashenko likes Mozdrovsky refinery and his life. Michael, thank you very much for your constructive comments, for your answers. Thank you. See you again soon. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Michael Sheitelman, political strategist. My name is Irina Uzlova. Thank you for watching, dears. Believe in our forces and believe in yourself. See you next week.